everyone, and welcome. I'm Nathan from Countryman Candle and Care, coming to you from Eastern Oregon. Today I'm going to show you how to recycle some wax. It's a skill that's not practical, but it is also sustainable. Out here in Eastern Oregon, we experience frequent power outages, especially during storm season. As you know, it's probably a good idea to always keep candles on hand during those storms when power outages do occur. These particular candles are unscented paraffin wax. They've served us well throughout multiple outages, but I've burned them, and so now I'm going to melt them down and form them into some new candles. First, I'm going to melt down all the wax. This process does take some time, so I've sped it up for you here. The key is maintaining a steady, gentle heat to avoid overheating the wax. Now that all the wax is melted, I need to remove any unwanted debris, so the wicks or anything else that's left behind. But check this out. Here's something that was completely unexpected. Looks like one of the candles had a moth trapped inside. Kinda disgusting, not too sure how that happened. But this is exactly why we strain and clean the recycled wax before using it. So here I'm transferring all the clean recycled wax into a pouring container. You'll see here in a minute that I end up adding a little too much wax into this container, so I end up splitting it between two containers to make it more manageable. Now that we've gotten the remainder of the wax out and in our pouring containers, we're going to go ahead and let them sit for a little bit and let them cool. We want to pour these candles between 130 and 140 degrees. Now that our wax is cooled to a temperature of 130 to 140 degrees, let me go ahead and show you my aluminum molds that I'm going to use. These 4 aluminum molds, they're quite clever. They have a cylinder that extends up through the bottom, creating a channel for the wick once the candle is finished. Here's a pro tip when you're using these molds. I always chill these molds in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes before pouring. When hot wax hits the cold surface, it solidifies immediately, preventing any leaks out of the bottom of the mold. I learned this the hard way when hot wax leaked through the bottom and made quite a mess on my countertop recently. Start off by pouring these in just small amounts into each mold, allowing it to solidify and help create that seal. As you can see here, I'm going to start stirring this pitcher, and I'm going to have some wax that's already solidified on the bottom of the pitcher. I'm just going to stir that loose and get that melted back into the wax. Here I'll continue to pour the remainder of the wax, trying to keep all the candles even in size. These will be perfect for our next power outage, and living out here, we definitely need them, especially during the spring and summer storm seasons. Here's a time-lapse video of the wax just hardening inside the molds. After letting the candles solidify overnight, it's time to remove them from their molds. The great thing about these molds is that the wax naturally shrinks as it cools, making removal extremely easy. The cylinders pull right out and the candles slide out effortlessly when you just turn them upside down. I've had other molds in the past that I've used for a process very similar that have not been as easy as these ones. Now that I have the candles out of their molds, I can thread the wick straight up through the bottom, through the channel, and out the top. It sits securely in the bottom. Even if it's a little loose in the channel, that's fine. The wax will fill the gaps as the candle burns. And the final step is to trim the wick to the proper length, and these recycled candles are ready to go back into our emergency drawer for the next storm that we have. Thanks for watching this video today. I hope you learned something valuable about recycling wax and found practical ways to reuse materials in your home. Remember that at Countryman Candle & Care, we believe in making the most of what we have, where tough meets tidy. Thank you.